After years of being happily together, my husband and I have watched several friends of ours get divorced. And these weren't celebrities or people we had only met once. These were friends and people we knew genuinely loved each other. And each time it happened, I kept asking the same question. How does a couple go from standing in front of all of their friends and family and promising forever together to deciding we just can't do this anymore? What made it harder was that feeling of complete helplessness. I couldn't fix it. I couldn't stop it. I didn't even know the right words to say. And I couldn't even fully understand how they got there. As I've spent time working with engaged couples, I've noticed something that almost nobody talks about. There is a transformation that needs to happen between dating and marriage. And if that transformation never happens, even a couple who love each other deeply can constantly find themselves pulling in opposite directions. Today, I want to talk about the identity shift from me to we, because marriage isn't just a change in your relationship status. It's changing the way you think about yourself. If we haven't met yet, hi, I'm Tanya. I am the founder of Preaisle Commitment Conversations. I help engaged couples build marriages that are just as meaningful and beautiful as the wedding day that they are planning. And one of the biggest surprises that couples face, it isn't communication or conflict or even finances. It's identity. When we're single, life revolves around one central question. What do I want? Where do I want to live? How do I want to spend my weekend? What do I want to spend my money on? What are my priorities? What are my goals? Even when you're dating, a lot of those decisions belong primarily to you. But marriage introduces a different question. What is best for us? And that's where a lot of couples will experience friction. And it's not because they're selfish or because they're bad people. It's because they are trying to operate with an individual mindset, but they are inside of a partnership structure. Here's something that might sound a little strange. After you get married, you might go through a period of grief. You've been planning this one day for a long time and the party's over. But that grief also comes because you're losing a version of yourself. It's the version of you that only had to think about you, your own schedule, your own goals, your own preferences, your own plans. And before anyone panics, this isn't a bad thing. Every meaningful life transition involves some level of loss. When you move to a new city, things change. When you become a parent, things change. When you start a new career, things change. Marriage is no different. Yet many engaged couples feel, well, guilty about this. They think, if I'm excited about getting married, then why am I nervous about what I'm giving up? Because you're human. And because healthy commitment involves sacrifice. The goal isn't to pretend that sacrifice doesn't exist. The goal is to make sure this relationship is worth it. This is where I often see couples run into some trouble because they've planned a wedding, they've picked a venue, they've chosen flowers, but they haven't talked about how life decisions will actually work. For example, whose family gets priority during holidays? How do we handle our friendships? And what happens if one of us has a career opportunity that requires a move? How will we make financial decisions? What does personal space look like? And what does togetherness look like? Because marriage isn't just adding another person to your existing life. It is building an entirely new life together. And that requires intentional conversations, not assumptions. Here's the good news. Healthy marriages do not erase individuality. There's a reason you fell in love with each other. You don't stop being you or lose your personality. You don't have to abandon your dreams. You are not becoming less of yourself. You are learning how to take two awesome individuals and create something even better together. Think of it like joining a team. The best teams are not made up of identical people. They're made up of people who have their own unique strengths, but they have a shared mission. Marriage works in the same way. You still have your own personal interests, your personal goals, your personal talents, but all of those things now exist within a shared framework. Instead of asking, what do I want? You begin to ask, What do I want? And how does that fit within what we're building together? That's the shift. Neither of you are disappearing, but both of you are learning how to think beyond yourselves. If you're engaged right now, here is a conversation I'd encourage you to have this week. Ask each other, what part of married life are you most excited about? Then ask, what part of married life feels hardest to give up? And don't judge the answer, don't correct the answer, just listen. Because couples who thrive aren't the ones who never experience tension. They are the ones who are willing to talk honestly about it. When I think back to those friends whose marriages ended, I don't think it was because they didn't love each other. In fact, I'm sure of it. I think many couples simply underestimate how much marriage asks us to grow. It's not just about finding the right person, it's about becoming the kind of person who can build a life with someone else. It's moving from me to we, and it won't happen overnight, and it's not going to look perfect, but it does need to be intentional. And the earlier you start having those conversations during your engagement, the stronger the foundation you are building for your marriage that follows. If you're engaged and looking for meaningful conversations like this one, that's exactly why I created Preaisle. Because every I do begins with understanding who you are and how you're learning to build a life together. And if you would like to have more conversations, I have a free download. It's in the description. It is questions that you can ask each other. It's called the Engaged Couples Conversation Map. All kinds of questions you can start right away, whether you're in the car or having dinner, and it is going to start you on that great foundation. Happy wedding planning, and I will see you in the next one.